Hi and welcome to this tutorial on Filament. In this tutorial we're going to be looking at the articulation trigger system. You'll see I've loaded up 4 more instruments. I've loaded up chamber strings, violin, 1, 2, the viola and the cello. And what I've done on each of these is I've actually loaded up the multi-articulation patches, core and decorative techniques, and I've set them to use lock to UAC. Now, the articulation trigger, you'll notice it's not a complex plugin in the front end, right? You just have a drop down. These are fixed articulations, and at the bottom there is a custom slot. They don't in and of themselves connect to an articulation. In order to get them to work, we have to go to the mixer page. In here, you'll see there's this little ART slot. This is your articulation map. And you'll see if I click on this slot, you can assign a articulation to trigger a key switch, or a CC, or a program, or a velocity. But more than that, you can trigger multiples, because some libraries require a combination, and also you can have an articulation trigger a filter, or a custom script, which we will be building into these. What that means is certain articulations are most useful without mod wheel, and so you can add that filter to that particular articulation, whereas some are good without expression or good without the sustain pedal, and you can filter these out on a articulation basis for your library. Now, the reason why we've divorced the articulations in the front end from the back end is because doing it this way allows you to set up a orchestration connected to the instruments, but not wed you to a particular library. So later on, if I want to swap out my chamber strings for cinematic studio strings or a different string library, I only have to change them here. I don't then have to go through every key switch and alter my articulations, which means that this stays focused on being what it is, an orchestration. And all the technical stuff happens here. Now, I'm just going to load up the Spitfire UACC articulation map, which is saved here. You'll see there's only a couple of presets here. Over time, we're hoping to increase these so that to save you the time and effort of making your own articulation maps. But you can save your own and load them up pretty flexibly. So I'm going to load up Spitfire, the UACC map, and you can see it's mapped those all for me. And now if I go to the front, if we route, I'm going to turn off the smart chord interpreter, and if we route all the notes to, say, our violin 1 chamber strings, and we set this to sustain, sounds like that, but we could also set it to staccato. Now, what's really cool about this is per-keyswitch. So if I want to, I could have let's say a 4-part voicing going to my chamber strings. Maybe I'll take a appassionato violin on top for fun. I'm going to drop the appassionato a little bit because it's a bit louder. Okay. But then let's say I want to, I'm going to drag that across. Let's say I want to change these inner voices to be tremolo on a different key switch. Just go here, go tremolo. These are guides, the names, but they don't directly connect to anything in the back end. You connect them. So if there is an articulation that you want that is not listed here, you can just use the articulations here to map to them. You just have to configure it in the back end. They're just to help you stay organized across all articulations. Boom. So our inner voices are tremoloing and our outer voices are still legato. And I can use that across the 2 key switches. And again, this is all breathing color into your articulations and your patches. Okay, that's all for this video. See you at the next one.